Manager dragged black waitress into bathroom. He didn't know her husband was a mafia boss. The night shift had barely started when the restaurant went silent. The clinking of glasses, the soft jazz in the background, everything stopped when the manager's voice cut through the air like broken glass. "You think you can just talk back to me?" All eyes turned. In the middle of the sleek, silver-tiled dining room, Amara stood, her hands trembling, apron stained from spilled coffee, her eyes glinting with restrained fire. She was young, black, graceful, the kind of beauty that carried dignity, not decoration. Her manager, Chad Renner, towered over her. White shirt rolled up to the elbows, a smirk he wore like a badge. "You messed up an order for the VIP table," he said loudly, making sure every waiter heard. "And now you think it's not your fault?" Amara's voice was soft, careful. "Sir, the order was changed by the kitchen. I was just—" "Don't talk back." He grabbed her wrist. The restaurant gasped as her tray clattered to the floor, silverware bouncing like echoes of shock. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Chad's tone shifted, quieter now, venom behind his smile. "Bathroom." "Now." She froze. "Sir, please." "Now, or you're fired." The words dripped with the kind of power that thinks it owns the air people breathe. He dragged her toward the hallway behind the bar, the kind of corridor no one watches. No cameras, no witnesses, fluorescent lights flickered above peeling paint. The sound of music from the dining room faded, replaced by the hum of the ventilation fan. Amara's shoes squeaked against the floor as he shoved her inside the staff bathroom. "You think you can embarrass me in front of customers?" he hissed, blocking the door with his arm. She backed away, voice shaking. "Please, you're hurting me." He smiled, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. "You should have thought of that before trying to act smart." Her heart hammered. Each second stretched like slow motion, and then, from the other side of the door, a voice. Deep, calm, controlled. "Open the door." Chad froze. The voice came again. "Colder this time." "Now!" Amara's breath hitched. She knew that voice. The door handle turned slowly, once, twice. Then silence. Chad swallowed, forcing a laugh. "Private area, buddy. Staff only. A low, dangerous pause. Good. Then you won't need an ambulance in front of customers." The door exploded open, hinges cracking against tile. A man stepped through. Tall, broad-shouldered, eyes sharp as glass. A black coat, silver cufflinks, and a quiet, simmering wrath that filled the room like smoke. Amara gasped. Marcus, her husband, and the man Chad had just manhandled the wife of, was the same man the city whispered about in fear and reverence. Marcus Hale, CEO by day, Shadowed King by night, a man people called the Ghost of Harlem. The air thickened. Marcus's gaze slid from Amara's bruised wrist to Chad's trembling hand, still halfway raised. He didn't shout. Didn't move, just looked. That kind of silence was deadlier than rage. "What did you just do to my wife?" Chad stammered. "Wife? Wait, I didn't—" "It's a misunderstanding." Marcus stepped closer, slow enough for his polished shoes to echo like gunshots. "You dragged her. You touched her." "I swear, man, it's not what it looks like." Marcus's voice dropped an octave, smooth and ice cold. "It looks like you just signed your resignation with blood." The faucet dripped once. The hum of the fan grew louder. Amara's heartbeat thudded in her ears. Marcus took off his watch, deliberate, controlled, and placed it gently on the sink. That small gesture sent a shiver through the air. "Marcus," Amara whispered, her voice breaking. "Please, don't." He paused, his hand still at his cuff. Her voice pulled him back from the edge. He looked at her bruised wrist again. Then at her eyes. Pleading, terrified, but not for herself. He exhaled slowly. "Go wait outside." "Baby." Amara hesitated, then stepped past him, her shoulders trembling. As the door closed behind her, the camera lingered on the small crack of light that spilled across Marcus's face. His expression hardened into something primal. The fan's hum was drowned out by a sound, faint, metallic, as he locked the door from inside. Silence. You dragged the wrong woman. Morning light bled into the small apartment above the laundromat. Steam hissed from the kettle as Amara Hale stood by the window, watching the city wake up. The same city that never saw her, only the tray in her hands, the uniform on her back. Her reflection stared back at her through the glass. Tired eyes, calloused fingers, and a quiet strength born from surviving too much. She touched the bruise on her wrist from the night before, a faint mark. But the humiliation, that stayed deeper. Before she was the waitress, Amara had been a music teacher. She used to teach kids in a small Harlem community center, the kind of place where laughter and off-key piano notes shared the same rhythm. Her students called her Miss A, and her dream was simple, to open her own school one day. But dreams don't always survive the rent. When funding was cut, she lost her job. Bills stacked up. Her mother got sick, so she took the first job that said, "Help Wanted," a downtown restaurant, high-end, high-tip, low respect. She told herself it was temporary. A month, maybe 2. That was 2 years ago. At the restaurant, she learned a new rhythm, one made of snide smiles and unspoken prejudice. "Table 3 wants someone else," the hostess would whisper. "They said she doesn't look upscale enough. You're too emotional," Chad would sneer whenever she asked for fairness. "Be grateful. Not everyone gets chances like this." But Amara didn't argue. She'd smile, serve, and walk home with tips soaked in humiliation. The other waitresses called her the quiet one. She wasn't quiet. She was strategic, because there was one thing no one in that restaurant knew, not even Chad. Amara was married, and her husband wasn't just anyone. Marcus Hale was a man of shadows and silence. His empire wasn't built in the open. His money came from construction, logistics, real estate, and whispers of things never written down. He'd met Amara 5 years ago when his car broke down near her music center. She didn't know who he was then, only that he looked lost, lonely, and tired of being feared. She offered him water, not worship, and that's what hooked him. They married quietly. No lavish photos, no bodyguards, just 2 souls escaping the noise of the world. But Marcus had one rule. No one at work can ever know you're my wife, not because he was ashamed, but because he was protecting her from his world, the one that traded loyalty for blood. So Amara hid the ring under her apron. Every morning she kissed him goodbye, left the penthouse, and became invisible again. The scene cuts back to last night, the restaurant bathroom. Marcus's hands locked around Chad's collar. The sound of his breathing was louder than the man's begging. Amara's voice, trembling outside the door, was the only thing that stopped him. He didn't touch Chad. Not once. But the fear he left behind did more damage than any blow could. When he walked out, his expression was cold, unreadable. He placed his coat around Amara's shoulders and said only one thing: "Go home. I'll handle it." But Amara knew what that meant. Marcus didn't handle things with HR. He handled them quietly. Now, as she poured coffee into a chipped mug, her hands shook. She loved her husband, the protector, the provider, but part of her feared the man the world whispered about. "You can't fix cruelty with violence," she whispered to herself. Her phone buzzed. A message. "Unknown number. You shouldn't have gone to work last night." He knows. Her heart stuttered. She looked out the window. Across the street, parked under the flickering lamppost, a black SUV idled, tinted windows. Engine running, waiting. Amara closed her eyes, heartbeat thudding in her ears. She thought she had left Marcus's world behind, the one where power was currency and mercy was weakness. But maybe she hadn't, because last night wasn't the end of it. It was just the beginning. Soft jazz plays under the hum of the city. The camera pans to her bruised wrist. Her phone screen lighting up again. Another message. "He's already at the restaurant." Rain hammered against the restaurant's glass walls that morning, streaking them with long trails of gray light. The city was drenched in silence, the kind that comes before something dangerous. Inside, Waiters moved like ghosts, whispering about what happened the night before. The manager, Chad Vickers, hadn't shown up since the incident, but his voice still haunted the walls, loud, arrogant, soaked in false power. Amara walked through the back entrance, rain dripping from her coat. She shouldn't have been there. Marcus had told her to stay home, but she wasn't going to let this end in blood. Her shoes squeaked on the tile as she stepped into the kitchen. Every eye turned toward her, some in pity, others in fear. Amara. "You shouldn't be here," whispered Mia, the head waitress. They said Chad called the owners. "He's trying to flip the story. Says you attacked him." Amara froze. The air thickened. The same game again. Twist the truth, bury the victim, but not this time. "Then let him talk," she said softly, her voice calm, steady. "Because I'm done being silent." The scene cuts back. Fluorescent lights flicker over a narrow hallway. The hum of a broken fan fills the space. Chad's hand grips Amara's arm too tight. His voice slithers through clenched teeth. "You think you're better than this? Smiling at customers like you matter? You're just—" She jerks away, trembling, eyes glistening but defiant. "Don't touch me again," he smirks. "Or what? You'll complain? No one's gonna believe you." A door creaks open. The camera pans down the hall. Marcus's reflection flashes in a mirror. He's seen enough, but the memory ends before the chaos. Back in the present, Amara breathes deeply, gripping her apron. She knows what Chad doesn't. There are cameras. Amara walks to the small office near the back, where the security system hums quietly. The IT clerk, a nervous college kid named Trevor, looks up, startled. "Amara? You're not supposed to—" "Please, Trevor," she interrupts. "Just check the footage from last night." The hallway near the restrooms, he hesitates. Then guilt flickers across his face. "You're not the first he's done this to," Trevor whispers. "But you might be the last." He clicks play on screen, Chad dragging her arm. Her fear, his smirk. The slam of the door. Then Marcus entering the frame. Calm, controlled, terrifyingly quiet. Trevor exhales. "That's your husband?" Amara's silence says everything. She copies the footage onto a flash drive, her fingers trembling. "If anyone asks, you didn't see me?" As she leaves the office, her phone vibrates again. "Marcus, where are you?" His voice growls through the line. "I told you to stay home." She hesitates, swallowing hard. "I had to make sure the truth doesn't disappear." A pause. The sound of his breath. Then softly, "You've got 10 minutes, Amara. Then leave. Understand?" Click. She slips the phone into her pocket, heart pounding. The restaurant lights flicker, a power surge. Then a black SUV stops outside. The air changes. The guards! The tension. Marcus is already here. Amara steps into the main floor just as the front doors swing open. Marcus walks in, dark coat, eyes sharp as a blade. 2 bodyguards behind him, silent as statues. Every conversation dies. Forks stop mid-air. The hum of the air conditioner is the only sound. Marcus doesn't look at her. He's scanning, calculating. Then Chad steps out from the office, pretending confidence, though his face twitches when he sees Marcus. "What's this? You bringing security to breakfast?" Chad sneers, forcing a laugh. Marcus takes 1 step forward. The lights above flicker again, thunder rumbling in the distance. "You laid hands on my wife," Marcus says quietly. "That was your last mistake." The room freezes. Gasps ripple through the staff. Chad stumbles back. "Wife? She told you that?" "She's lying!" Marcus doesn't answer. Amara does. She steps forward, flash drive in hand. No. But the cameras will. The sound of thunder outside drowns the room. Marcus's guards close the doors behind them. Everyone watches. No one breathes. Amara stands between them, between rage and reason. Her hand shakes slightly as she places the flash drive on the table. "No more secrets," she says. "No more hiding." Marcus's jaw tightens. His eyes meet hers, love and fury battling in silence. The scene slows. Close up, Chad's face, pale. The guards' hands moving to their sides. The power flickering once more. A single heartbeat echoes. Then, thunder cracked outside, a flash of white against the restaurant's glass walls. Inside, silence carved through the air like a blade. Every waiter, every guest, froze in place as if the world had stopped spinning. Amara stood between two storms. Her husband, Marcus, the man everyone feared but never truly knew, and Chad Vickers, the man who mistook power for cruelty. Marcus stepped forward, slow and deliberate, each footfall echoing against the marble floor. The air conditioning hummed weakly, trembling under the weight of tension. Chad swallowed hard, glancing around, searching for backup that wasn't coming. "This is a misunderstanding," he stammered. She's lying. "I never touched." Marcus lifted his hand, calm, silent command. The two bodyguards halted at the entrance. "You think I care about your words?" Marcus's voice was low, steady. "You think stories protect you?" His eyes flicked to Amara, softening only for her. "Show him." Amara's fingers trembled as she plugged the flash drive into the wall monitor behind the bar. The screen flickered, static, then color. Everyone watched. The footage played. Chad's hand grabbing her arm, his voice venomous and small, her frightened face, his smirk. The sound of the bathroom door slamming shut, gasps rippled through the staff. A server covered her mouth. The chef stepped forward, eyes wide with disbelief. Chad's face drained of color. He lunged toward the monitor. "That's not what it looks like." Marcus's guard caught him mid-stride, pressing a heavy hand to his shoulder. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. "You humiliated her," he said. "You cornered her. You thought no one would see." Beat. "But I see everything." The rain outside intensified, slamming against the glass like applause for judgment. Amara stepped forward, her voice shaking but clear. "You've done this to other women, haven't you? Used your title, your authority to make them feel small?" Chad's eyes darted, his lips trembling. "You don't understand." "No," she interrupted. "You don't understand respect." The camera lingers on her face, strength beneath the scars, light breaking through fear. "All my life, men like you looked at me and saw a servant. But I've cleaned better trash than you." The room erupted. Soft gasps, whispers, a few muffled laughs of disbelief. Marcus almost smiled. Almost, he turned to Chad one last time. "You're going to disappear from this place," he said, quietly. "Before I decide you shouldn't walk at all." Chad's body shook. "You can't threaten me." Marcus stepped closer, his voice a whisper colder than steel. "I don't threaten. I promise." Slow motion. Chad's badge is ripped from his shirt. The guards escort him through the main doors, rain drenching his face, his pride washed away. Marcus watches from the window, unmoving. The reflection of lightning flashes across his eyes, brief, dangerous light. Then he turns to Amara. "You should have told me," he says softly. Her lips tremble. "I didn't want you to become what they think you are." He exhales, heavy. "Conflicted human, and you still don't understand. I became that so no one else ever hurts you again." For the first time, his voice cracks. It's not rage anymore. It's heartbreak. The staff stands in silence, watching a different kind of power, not violence, but love wrapped in restraint. Amara looks around. The same walls that once witnessed humiliation now echoing with her defiance. She whispers, almost to herself, "I didn't want revenge. I just wanted to be seen." Marcus steps closer, his hand brushing hers. "You were always seen, Amara. The world just needed to open its eyes." The lights flicker again. The storm begins to fade. As Chad's car disappears down the street, the first sunlight breaks through the clouds. It spills across the floor, soft, golden, almost holy. But just before the camera fades, Marcus's phone buzzes. He looks at the screen, frowning. A text from an unknown number. "You made an example of the wrong man." His eyes darken. The piece is already cracking. The words appear on screen. Power hides in the shadows, but so does justice. The storm had passed. Morning light spilled gently across the city, washing the skyline in soft gold. The restaurant, once tense and buzzing with fear, now felt strangely still, as if the building itself was catching its breath. Amara stood by the window, wiping the same glass she'd cleaned 1,000 times before. But this time, her reflection looked different, stronger, seen. Marcus stood behind her, silent. A cup of untouched coffee steamed between them, the air thick with what hadn't been said. The owners had called at dawn. Chad was gone. Fired. The footage had gone viral overnight, leaked by someone from the staff, spreading across social media like fire meeting oxygen. The headline read, "Black Waitress Stands Up to Abusive Manager. Husband's Identity Shocks Everyone." Comment after comment. People demanding justice. Women sharing their own stories. For once, the truth wasn't buried. It was trending. Amara had become the voice she'd once been too afraid to use. "It's strange," she murmured, staring out at the sunrise. "The same people who looked through me now act like they see me." Marcus's voice was low, steady. "They see what you made them see. Not because of me. Because of you." The door creaked open. Mia, the head waitress, walked in nervously. She hesitated, then handed Amara a small envelope. "From the staff," she said softly. We all wanted to thank you." Inside were signatures, scribbles of gratitude, and a single note that read, "You didn't just save yourself, you saved us too." Amara pressed the paper to her chest, tears forming but not falling. For the first time, she didn't feel like she was standing at the bottom of the world. Marcus stepped closer. "You wanted to be seen. Now the world's watching." She turned to him, eyes soft but firm. "Then let them see all of me. Not your wife, not their victim. Just Amara." He smiled faintly, pride hidden behind restraint. "That's the woman I fell in love with." The restaurant reopening. Amara moving gracefully between tables, laughter returning to the air. Marcus watching from the corner table, unreadable, protective but peaceful. The music rises, warm and steady. A reporter's voice plays faintly in the background. After footage of the assault spread online, the company has launched a new policy protecting staff against workplace abuse. The woman at the center of the case declined interviews, asking instead for privacy and peace. The camera pans across Amara's face, calm, centered, her eyes reflecting sunlight and survival. A montage begins. Chad, sitting in a small apartment watching his own downfall play on a news feed. His hands tremble. He turns off the screen, sits in darkness. No one answers his calls anymore. Across the city, Amara delivers a speech at a local women's shelter. The words are simple, powerful, unshakable. Silence protects the abuser, not the abused. If you think no one will believe you, remember this. The truth only needs one voice to start an echo. Applause fills the hall. Marcus stands in the back, watching her, unseen but deeply moved. Back at the restaurant that evening, the final scene unfolds quietly. Marcus walks in. No guards this time, no shadows. Just him. Amara wipes down the last table and smiles faintly when she sees him. "You're late." He smirks. "You're still working." They meet in the middle of the room where it all began. The same space where humiliation once lived, now filled with peace. Marcus places a small silver key on the table. "What's this?" "Your own place," he says. "You wanted to run your own cafe." "It's time," her breath catches. A tear escapes before she can stop it. "Marcus, why?" "Because you showed me something I forgot," he says softly. "Power isn't what makes people fear you. It's what makes them safe." The camera drifts outward, rising slowly above the restaurant. The city glows beneath a sky no longer gray. Narration fades in over soft piano. Some stories begin in silence. Some are buried under fear. But the moment truth finds courage, even the quietest voice becomes a revolution. The screen fades to black, dedicated to every worker who was ever told to stay quiet.